and gentlemen, welcome to episode 262 of the DrunkNerds podcast. I'm your host, as always, I'm Tyler, and joining me, we have the man, the myth, the legend himself, Sir Colonel Gables. What's up, buddy?
Hi, I am doing fine. Gotta tell you though, after the busy week of work, I am feeling jazzed just to play something. I'll tell you what, beginning part of the week it was kind of weird. My body kind of broke down a little bit, so I took that Monday off. Just laid in bed for most of the day, which I gotta admit, you gotta have a day of rest when you're doing all this exercise stuff. But
for Jesus, it's Sunday. For Gables, it's Monday.
Oh yes, of course. And considering I do hate Mondays, they're similar. But that's
Gables is also Garfield. That's a fun fact.
Well, anyway, other than that though, I started my week a little bit like a short. Went through Tuesday through Friday and stuff. Worked my ass off. I finished a game which we'll be getting into pretty soon. But other than that though, I've just been feeling like this week has been sort of like a weird sort of like transitional thing, like during work stuff, during this and during that. But at the same time, I'm here. I'm good. I've been playing some games. And so how have you been, Tyler?
I'm doing all right. Work has been a lot like the weather the last couple months, where it's like, it's like, oh man, sweet spring, and then you get snow.
Yep.
Like, oh man, it sucks. Okay, a few days of shittiness, and like, all right, spring's here again. Snow. And that's kind of how work has been with like the busy season getting to an end. It's like, all right, busy season's pretty much over, or we're getting down to like about 50 hours a week now, and then bam, 70-hour week for you right there. Bam, gotta work Saturday. So that's kind of how it was one of those. This week was winter, unfortunately for us, as far as work goes. So I didn't get as much free time as I wanted to. Playing some games and enjoying it's been beautiful out the last week and a half. So I did get to play frisbee golf though last Sunday with Justin, which was nice.
There you go.
Yeah, it took like 6 hours and we played like 9 holes, which is typical for us. We've had many times where we were there for 3 hours and didn't even throw a disc. So we drank a whole we'll drink a whole 12-pack of beer, but we didn't throw a disc. We'll just sit there and talk, and then like we'll literally like play or go to play. And we'll let those people go in front of us because we're just gonna we're slow. Just go ahead and start. And then they'll go to like hole 10, and we're still sitting there at hole 1 talking. So that should tell you what we're like. We just get it going. We cannot multitask when it comes to frisbee golf. But no, it was actually kind of a cool thing though at work today on Saturday. Nobody was there but my line. And so there was just like 6 of us there, and then like one maintenance guy, and we never see him. So he's off doing their stuff. So in the break room, I actually talked. I don't know if I should take all credit for it. I'm going to, but I don't know if I should. But he started there. One of the guys started there like 4 months ago, and he's a gamer, and he's been asking me about the Switch, and I'm like, I've been raving about it and stuff. And he's like, well, my concern is, I don't want to just get Zelda and just play Zelda. I've been like, dude. Going off about Mario and Rabbids, Mario Odyssey, Mario Kart 8, ARMS, Splatoon 2. I'm like, there's so many great games for this thing. And I'm like, if you like indie games, there's a lot of cool. Anyways, going on and spieling about it. So last weekend he finally went out and actually got one and got Zelda, and he bought Mario Kart 8 for it, and he actually brought his Switch in today. And I've never played in like the tablet mode before, or whatever it's called, where they put on the kickstand. And he actually brought it in. So every break today, both breaks and lunch, we sat there and we did a Grand Prix on 200cc. And I destroyed him, much like he was a small child. No, he beat me in the first one, but just barely. Actually, it was kind of cool because we were doing 200cc's and we were like always in the top 2 or 3. And the next 2, fucking destroyed him. No joke, really actually destroyed him pretty bad. But yeah, he beat me in the first one by 2 points, motherfucker. He took the ramp, he ramped, and he took the boost. I played it safe and got second. He passed me the last 1/10 of a second. He beat me by 2 points. But yeah, no, that was really cool. That's like the coolest thing I've done with the Switch, other than the week ARMS came out and Justin came over here and he was playing with the what the fuck are they called? Not the Joy-Cons. I kept wanting to call them nunchucks there, but the Joy-Cons. He was playing on the tablet mode with those on using my computer desk, and I'm playing on my TV, playing Arms, and we're playing online and everything together and against each other and stuff like that. And that's probably the coolest thing I've done with it. But this was the coolest thing since then, getting to do that. And I'm like, dude, you should have told me you were bringing your Switch today. I would have brought mine in. We could both. But it was cool. It worked out really well using the Joy-Cons. Not the preferred way to play, obviously, but when you're at work and you're just playing for 10, you got to play for 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Really cool. And another thing that was kind of weird before we get into like the meat and potato of the show. So I don't know about you, Gables, but every now and again when I get into I start playing a really great game.
Yeah.
I like to go back and like watch like all like the trailers for the game. Like I did it with like Uncharted 4 and Doom and Breath of the Wild, Super Mario Odyssey. I'll go back and I'll watch like the E3s and I'll watch reactions and I'll watch like every trailer I can find and stuff on it. Just because I'm like, man, what was it like? Just because you kind of forget the hype and like what did they show off before it got there? And so I'm playing God of War, and I did that with God of War. So I should tell you that I've been really liking this game, and I'll obviously get more into that later. But for like the 100th time, I watched remember the Nintendo Switch presentation they had last January when they finally revealed like everything about it, and it ended with the Breath of the Wild trailer and with the release date. I have come to the conclusion that is the greatest trailer of all time for video games.
Really?
That's so great, man. Like the music and the cues and everything. It's just, and the build to everything. Princess Zelda with the voice acting, like, Link, open your eyes. I'm like, oh shit, man, that hits you right. It just tugs at the heartstrings just a little bit every single time. And so I watched that, and like I went and started watching like people's reaction, like live reactions to it and stuff. Like just get like the hype level back up, and it's like it was cool to see. So yeah, I don't know. I just like doing that. I don't know. Every now and then I go back and I start, and then maybe it's because E3 is getting close too. So I've been watching like stuff like that. Just kind of like look back what like last few years, some of the cool stuff that happened. Like I also went back and I watched like Last Guardian reactions. So that's been fun. A lot of Easy Ally stuff because they're pretty fun to watch. When they do the live stuff. But yeah, no, that's kind of been my week. Pretty crazy. But a lot of cool, fun video game stuff in there. But speaking of video games, Gables on our video game podcast. You want to do news first, actually?
Let's do it.
All right, cool. So there's a couple small ones. I'm just gonna knock them out real fast. First one is more for you. Sonic Mania Plus. We talked about it a few weeks ago. Actually, probably a couple months ago. They announced it was gonna be like $40. I believe it's $40. It's gonna be like a physical edition, and a digital edition is like a add-on for, it adds like 2 new characters, and it comes like a booklet, and it actually comes in like what looks like a Sega Genesis box. Comes out, they actually give a release date for it now. It is July 17th. And one of my big complaints about it was that it felt like they were like double dipping on like the hardcore fans. But if you want a physical copy, you can buy that, and that, I don't know if I like that because whatever. But anyways, if you are someone that bought the digital version for the original Sonic Mania last year, you can upgrade to the new Plus edition for $5. It's called the Encore DLC pack, and when it releases on July 17th for $5, you can upgrade and get those additional characters.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, so I think that's kind of cool. I mean, I'm glad. I mean, they could have done the shitty thing, and I'm sure it would have, they would have made a lot of money off of it because the hardcores are the ones that bought Sonic Mania, and they easily could have double dipped on those guys. And the fact that they didn't do it is a cool thing they did. What about you, Gables?
I think that's a fantastic idea right there because that gives you more incentive for people who have bought the digital version of it. I mean, hey, $5 is a great entry price for a DLC pack in general, and considering that they're paying that and not just having to pay the full $20 again for a kind of like a remix thing that they could have done, separately, but they chose not to this time around. It's a pretty good thing. I mean, I'm excited just to see the remastered certain bits of the courses from Sonic Mania, plus playing as both the new characters as well is going to be interesting too. So yeah, I can't wait. In the middle of July, it's going to be a dead period for some of us for playing games. For some of us.
You want to know what comes out 4 days before that, Gables? We just talked about this for the show.
Oh, yeah.
July 13th.
Captain Toad.
Mm-hmm. Game of the year. Game of the fucking year. And also Octopath Traveler, but who fuck, it's going to get buried by Captain Toad, so it doesn't matter. Yeah. Everything is going to get buried. You know what? People should be scared of Captain Toad, not Red Dead Redemption 2. They should. If they put Captain Toad in October, Red Dead Redemption 2 would move to January. Okay? That's how big Captain Toad is to gamers. Oop, I forgot to turn my phone off. I'm going to turn my phone off really fast. Oh, the Dubs are beating the Pelicans by 21 points at halftime, Gables. So
God damn.
There you go. There you go.
There's Dub things. I thought it was like freaking Rockstar Games. I was like, yeah, we take exception with that statement.
Like they call me. It's like, you guys are like fucking crazy. And you shut your shit down. Beer number 4.
We're barring you out and we're shutting you down.
Yep. Fair enough. You know, it was a stupid thing to say, but I stand by it. Moving on though. So in case you're not tired of the Battle Royale game modes, because I know Gables loves them so much, they H1Z1, which was a zombie open world game like DayZ from like 400 years ago on Steam, is finally coming to PS4. This thing was supposed to come to PS4 like around, like this game was announced on PS4 around launch time, like before launch of the PS4. Wow. They were like, this is coming to PS4. Well, it's finally coming to PS4, but not the original H1Z1. The new free-to-play Battle Royale game mode is coming May 22nd. Technically, it will be coming in beta. There's a closed beta now you can sign up for, and you can get it and play it. There's a $30 pack you can buy. It comes with gear and some weapons and shit, much like what Fortnite's doing. But I saw an article on IGN, and I didn't read it. I just read the headline. But so far this year, there's been 18 Battle Royale modes or games announced that are coming out this year. Ugh. And that doesn't include Call of Duty and Battlefield yet, because they're not officially announced.
Just hearing that factoid right now, that just kind of makes like my mind sort of wander a little bit. Is like, how many Battle Royale games are going to release in this year?
Yeah.
Freaking 18. 18.
It's not even May.
Serious? It's not even May.
Yeah.
As far as like the H1Z1 stuff, I mean, hey, people who are fans of it that own a PS4, hey, you're going to be playing a little bit of it, but to be perfectly honest, I think this is kind of too little too late in terms of like H1Z1 stuff, because even if that thing does release the free-to-play model like it had been for quite a while on Steam,
yeah,
why the hell would somebody want to play that if they had the option to play, say, Fortnite, or if they own an Xbox One and they're still playing that, or PUBG or something like that? You know, it's just releasing it for the sake of having another Battle Royale mode that's so fucking popular right now. I mean, coming a year from now, I don't think we're going to be hearing much about Battle Royale games. They're oversaturated. It's been oversaturated.
Yeah, I'm curious how the bubble of Battle Royale is going to go.
Yeah, I'm interested too.
I think this is going to be a make or break. I think the next, I don't want to say this year is, but I think the next, 12 to 18 months is going to tell you if this is a fad, which I don't think it is. I think it's a real thing now, but I'm curious.
Right.
Like, are we just going to see more of like the PUBG knockoffs? Fortnite did it and is destroying PUBG as far as revenue and players goes.
That's very true, and they've also done a very good job in like not only supporting their players in terms of content, but the way the gameplay has been like refined and stuff in comparison to PUBG and stuff. It's made it vastly popular, even more popular than, say, Fortnite is a lot more popular right now than PUBG is, obviously, but
yeah,
I think those two are the exceptions for the whole Battle Royale stuff that other developers have been making their own styles around, but
yeah. Well,
yeah.
And PUBG, I think the one benefit for H1Z1 is it'll be, I think, only the second game, Battle Royale game on the console for PS4.
Right.
Because PUBG hasn't made PS4 yet, and that's still, is supposed to be coming, I think, late this year, early next year to PS4. Because Xbox only signed a certain term exclusive agreement for it. So yeah, I'm. This is, I think, like I said, it's gonna be make or break the next 12 to 18 months. Like I feel like it's either gonna be too much too soon, and what's gonna happen is it's gonna be kind of what multiplayer games has turned into the last 4 or 5 years. But in a worst case, where this is it's the biggest, most played game mode game, whatever you want to call it, out there. But what's great for it right now, there's only like 2 or 3 big ones. In the Radical Heights, the new Cliffy B game from Epic, who came from Epic, now has his own early access version that's doing fairly popular right now. It's still, I think it's like free to play. That just came to Steam, but now you get H1Z1. So it's, I don't know. I think like I could see what's happening with this. Where like, remember, like I've talked about many times before, but Call of Duty was great back in the day when it was like that was the one of maybe, well, there was maybe 2 or 3 big like popular multiplayer games that came out a decade ago. In the last 5 or 6 years, there's like one a month or one every couple weeks. Like we get, like, especially in the holiday season, we've seen like a brand new shooter or brand new big multiplayer game that comes out almost every other week. So now we're seeing 15, 20 big games, multiplayer games coming every year. Now we're going to possibly see 15 to 20 Battle Royale games, whatever you want to call them, on the market in a short amount of time. You're going to split the player base up. I think obviously like PUBG and Fortnite will be fine, but there's going to be a lot of people who are going to drop off. So, and then you got Call of Duty and Battlefield coming in there. If they come out both this year with their Battle Royale modes, this can be almost catastrophic in a way for these, where it's just like now there's people over here, there's people over there. Your friends are playing Fortnite, but the other friends are playing Call of Duty. So yeah, I'm just kind of curious. Like I feel like they can like there's this really cool game mode, and there's this potential of big money that a lot of people see in this, and it's an easy way to get a headline for a game, and get noticed even for a Call of Duty or Battlefield. But you could very easily, in a way, hurt this phenomenon that's been going on the last year and a half or year, in a very short amount of time. It feels like it's this balloon or this bubble is expanding a lot faster than multiplayer gaming did a decade ago. But I guess that's it's the time with technology and things like that, and now there's more people making games than ever. So this is bound to happen. But it's great to see. So I'm curious what cool if these other Battle Royale games come out, what are they gonna do to make it different, make it stand out, if anything, other than just being 100 players on a map. Last man, you come down with a parachute. Last person survives, wins. But that's that's kind of the other small stuff. So the rest of the show, or the rest of the news, is going to be heavily focused on Nintendo. And like I say this every time, but when we do like a Nintendo focused show for news, but like they've been killing it the last year and a half since really they announced the Switch in October 2016. So it's going to happen. I put the same article in there twice. I just now realized that. So that I put 2 articles in there twice. Okay, so I'm gonna delete those out of there right now. But Nintendo revealed. I'm gonna do the couple smaller ones, and then we'll get to the big one at the end. But Nintendo revealed that they are gonna be. Nintendo is revealing, their online subscription in early May. Hey. So as early as next week or the next 2 weeks, we should be hearing from Nintendo. They're gonna come out and they're gonna talk about that, and they're gonna give you all the details about it before E3. So, Gables, what's your hype level for this online subscription?
Well, I gotta say it's about damn time they've mentioned something in regards to their online stuff. I'm fairly excited to see what they are going to reveal. At the same point, I kind of feel that with their unveiling and stuff, my excitement level is kind of moderate. I'm excited that they're going to announce something, but I'm keeping it toned back a bit because I think it's not going to be as exciting as what people think. Yeah. I'm with you. The optimist in me is excited because of all it's like that thing you hear about whenever they announce the direct, and it's like you start fantasy booking that direct. I'm like, okay, they could announce this. What if they announce this?
what if they show this? Even if it's a great direct, it never totally lives up to the hype.
Yeah.
Unless they have something out like absolutely crazy, like the last one where they had Smash Brothers, and obviously Captain Toad, the biggest game of all time. But like every now and again, but for the most part, like when you like, if they give you too long to like talk about or think about the cool things they can do with it, not just Nintendo, just anybody. We do this with E3 every year. We talk about all the things we can see at E3. We do like the week before. We always do like what we think is going to happen, prediction shows, you know. And then we read about them. We listen to podcasts. We watch about them. You know, and it's like, oh shit, that's cool. And it never like they're usually still pretty great, pretty good, or you know, but they never like. There's always that one or two things they're missing. So for a year and a half, since they announced they're going to do an online subscription base, it's like, okay, what is this going to be? Other than me having to pay $20 a year for, to be honest, your pretty shitty online service. What are you giving me here? Because if it's just the same online service, that ain't worth $20 a year, especially when you give it to us for free for a year and a half. So the optimist in me is like, I'll think of all the cool, great things we can get out of it. The pessimist in me is like, what if they're just trying to get all the bad news out before E3? Because like, if they announce it at E3 and it's not as cool as they thought it would be, it's like that would just ruin E3 for Nintendo. Even if they announce all kinds of cool stuff, like this is like one of their bigger things that they're gonna have going on this year, outside of some pretty good games. So I don't know. I'm hoping that I love the idea of there being like a Game Pass thing where like Xbox has, but with their virtual console.
Right.
I don't see that happening. I think $20 a year they can charge a lot more for that. They could probably charge $5-10 a month for that and do very successful with that than just $20 a year. But I don't know. I have a lot of emotion, like a lot of different emotions I'm feeling out of this, where it's like there's excitement and there's like, oh, this can be really bad. Not really bad,
right.
But this can be like, hey, you guys are paying $20 a month now for this thing that you've been getting for free for a year and a half. Like I feel like that'll probably be the worst case scenario, which isn't that bad. $20 for video gaming, being a gamer is a very expensive hobby, so $20 a year for something isn't all that much. So
no, not really.
I mean, I'll pay it. I'm not gonna be like I'm gonna like I won't be happy about $20 if that's the case, but I'm gonna pay it. Even if I only use it a handful of times a year. It's like PlayStation Plus. I'll go months without actually playing online, but when I'm just happy to have it, and every now and then I get a great game out of it. So, that's kind of my thoughts on it.
My thoughts kind of like is sort of similar, but what I'm thinking of is just the incentive of when I do pay for the $20 a year and stuff. Is there something more than just playing online? You know, they have to establish what are the extra things on top of playing online that I should be excited about buying. Is it worth like the span for about a year or something just to have the service in general? Because as far as like my online playing is concerned with like multiplayer, I hardly do so unless I am gaming specifically with friends on specific games, like the Mario Kart 8 or maybe an ARMS on occasion or something. I have played online stuff, but in general I'm mostly a single player focused gamer. So if you don't entice someone like me just to try to go forth and, like a hardcore Nintendo fan, try to invest the $20 a year just to play on your service and stuff like that, it's like, what is this service going to be for, pretty much?
Yeah.
In terms of for the people who don't really readily play online as much, but they still want to have like some sort of like incentives, say discounts on buying eShop games other than just what Nintendo selects in terms of certain like indie games or this and that. I basically kind of want some features that are prevalent from PlayStation Plus to be implemented for like Nintendo Switch, and I'm purely saying that in terms of like some of the discounts for some games, maybe they're first party or even third party games, like opposite of say like there's special codes they give out for your birthday, for instance, or other types of like nonsensical shit that you're probably not going to use.
Yeah, very true.
Which fun fact, I've had like a little code or something like that from Nintendo that they personally gave me for my birthday, but a lot of the games available, they're on the Wii U and the 3DS, so it's like no.
Yeah, no,
it's a
shitty thing to give you every year. So hey,
Yeah.
here's these like games you bought because 5 years ago that you can get 10% off of. They're still full price.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. I mean, you brought up a good point though, and I was as you're talking, I was thinking about it, and like if they would have came out of the gate with this, like $20 a year, and it's just online gaming, that's fine. Because at $20, Xbox and PlayStation are charging $60 a year. They can get away with not offering any free games. If it just came out and the online was as is, they had the app ready, then I think they could have got away with it and it would have been fine. But other than the fact they didn't have an online game to play on it until Mario Kart 8 came out like 2 months later. So I don't know. They could have done it then. I think if they can go back in time, they probably just do it then. But now I'm kind of curious. Like now that people are like I said, thinking about it, it's like, and then they said they had the thing where you got a free game every month, but it went away after a month. So and then took that away. Like they have to put something back in there because they can't. Hey, this is what we're offering you, and then take it away from us, and then so I'm curious. I'm curious how it's gonna work. A lot of different options, a lot of things, like I said, a lot of emotions, a lot of things spinning in my head. Like so many cool things, not really bad. I don't think it's gonna be terrible, but I think there could be some outrage. But for me personally, I'm trying to keep much like you, trying to keep everything in check. Not trying to.
Yes.
I'm trying to go in this almost negatively because I don't want to be disappointed. Because sometimes Nintendo, man, they're the one company that can break your heart and make and you feel like you're up in the clouds. That's and
yeah, you got to think moderately when it comes to announcements like that from Nintendo because they can go completely in one direction or completely another in the span of just one announcement. That's the kind of company they are.
Yeah, highest of highs and lowest of lows for video game companies. That's Nintendo. Other than Konami.
Exactly. For every Twilight Princess reveal, there is a Wii Music reveal. So let's just say that.
Oh yeah, that's right. Wii Music was a thing. Man, I forgot about that. That was bad. That was really bad. Sorry, I was drinking my beer. That's really funny though. I forgot about the Wii Music. I think it was terrible.
Robbie Drums. I'm just saying.
That was so stupid. So moving on to another Nintendo topic. So came out quarterly reports, and the reason we cover Nintendo and nobody else is because they're the only ones that actually give out details, and that's obviously because they're doing super well. They didn't give out these details when during the Wii U. PlayStation 4 came out, or PlayStation came out and said the PS4 officially 79 million units sold, which is great. But no, and they said their software sales were up 20% over this time last year, which is crazy to think. When they had like Nier and Neo and Horizon, that came out around that same time, and this year they didn't have that. But other than Shadow of Colossus, but that's nothing compared to really Horizon as far as sales go. But like I said, we're covering Nintendo. Xbox didn't cover anything because they don't announce anything now, since PlayStation has been quite frankly kicking ass this generation.
But also, we're not really highly actively playing a lot of things on the Xbox One. To be perfectly honest with you,
no. No, I've said it many times. I played a grand total of 7 hours of my Xbox One last year. That was for Cuphead. But Nintendo came out with some details. The Switch has sold almost 18 million units, which is awesome to hear. It's been out for a little over a year now, about 14 months as of this recording. And just to give you some detail, the GameCube sold 21.3 million units in its life cycle. So it could very well, could actually, thinking about it, could pass it or be right about it next quarter, at the end of this quarter. So I think it sold, I can't remember the exact number, but I think it was around 3 or 4 million sold in the first quarter of the year. So very good chance, especially with Hyrule Warriors coming out there. That's obviously going to be a console mover right there for you. That's good for 10 million. Don't be sarcastic, Gables, about Hyrule Warriors. You son of a bitch.
I'm not being sarcastic with Hyrule Warriors.
You better not be. You better not be. And then when Captain Toad comes out, that's good for 20, 30 million. They're probably going to pass the Wii when that comes out. God damn it. Fucker. But they also came out and they announced a lot of the sales for the the Switch games. These are all combined throughout the world. Usually they give us by territory, but this one they actually give us combined sales. So surprisingly, Super Mario Odyssey, not surprising what units sold, but surprisingly it's the most sold. 10.41 million units sold. So over half of the people that own a Switch have Mario Odyssey.
Dude.
Yeah, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, same thing. 9.22 million units sold, so slightly over half own that game on the Switch. Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, 8.48 million units sold, but that includes 1.53 million units sold for the Wii U. So about 7 million of those units were sold on the Switch. So still, that's awesome. That's crazy to hear. I don't think they ever actually came out with official numbers for the Wii U version before until now. No. Splatoon 2 sold 6.02 million units. 1-2 Switch, fucking really? 2.29 million units sold. Why? Why, people? Justin didn't even buy that game. So that should tell you something, okay? Why are people buying that game? That's a bad game. It's stupid. ARMS sold 1.85 million units. Xenoblade Chronicles 2, 1.31 million units. And holy shit, Kirby Star Allies in the first month on the market, 1.26 million units sold.
Gables, a Kirby game.
I did not know you bought 1 million copies of that game.
I did not buy 1 million copies, or else I'd really be in the doghouse right now. But that's very surprising with Kirby Star Allies, especially with like a lot of the middling reviews, this and that and stuff. People are hungry to play new Nintendo content on the Switch.
Yeah,
that's just proof enough for you. If a Kirby game goes through and sells over 1 million, if this was on the Wii U, it barely would have cracked 500,000. I kid you not.
If this was on Wii U, it probably would have cracked 100,000.
Maybe.
Captain Toad, I think, barely cracked 100,000. And that's great all the time. So, yeah, I mean, you're right though. I mean, that just tells you where we're at with the Switch. Like where people, like you said, people are hungry to play games on it, and especially hungry to play Nintendo games on it.
I can't get enough of that damn device. I mean, for God's sakes, I have a PS4, have a bunch of great games for it, but I'm on my Switch, and I want to play indie games on it. I want to play things on it. It's a Nintendo console I freaking have been waiting for a hell of a long time, because it's like I can play a lot of my good content on it with me on the go, but I digress.
Yeah, like just playing Mario Kart 8 at work today on break was awesome. Like nothing's even like a game. Everything is slightly better on a Nintendo console, and I don't know why that is. But maybe it's the fanboys in us. I don't know, or it's a little bit of our childhood creeping out. But everything is slightly better, gaming wise, on a Nintendo console. So yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome here. Kirby's. This is like the fastest selling Kirby game ever. Obviously, I talked about it. I know it's fine. I played it for a couple hours, and maybe an hour actually, and I beat the first 2 worlds. I was like, oh, okay, this is fine. This is not my game. Yeah. So, but I'm glad to hear it's doing really well. So yeah, that's cool to hear though. Like that. I mean, that's probably the first like Nintendo game that came out that was like, yeah, it's pretty good. Like it wasn't like everything I announced there. Like pretty much everybody lost their shit over except for 1-2 Switch. Like that was just like that should have been a packing game. Everything else on here isn't like fucking everybody's losing their shit over. So that's cool to hear. But moving on to our last topic of the show, Nintendo is getting a new president. Yeah. So there's an article here. I'm just gonna read the article because there's a lot of information here that I was like, oh, I'm just gonna, usually I just kind of take out the interesting parts, but for the most part, this whole article is pretty interesting. So current Nintendo president Tatsumi Kimishima will retire in June. He will be succeeded by Shintaro Farouk. Do you know it?
This should be a segment for the show right here. How Tyler can pronounce Japanese names.
Dude, there could be English names. I still couldn't do it. Shintaro Furuka. Furyuka. Shintaro Hadukan. Hadukan is currently a board member. That's his new name. I've dubbed it, though. Hadukan is currently a board member.
I need to see the name now. I need to try to see the name.
Shintaro Furuka. Is currently a board member for both Nintendo and the Pokemon Company. He'll become Nintendo's sixth president in 128 years of operation. Only the fourth president since they joined video games. So that's pretty impressive over a little over 30 years. He's 46. He's a particularly young appointment, which is apparently a purposeful decision on part of Kimishima, who wanted a successor that could more easily connect with the company's customers. We will develop the company to its fullest, Hadukan said at a news conference. I will balance Nintendo's traditions, originality, and flexibility. Hadukan also speaks fluent English, so it's possible that he'll see him taking on a more public role that former President Satoru Iwata, that's easy, I could say that, made so popular in his time as head of the company. Kimishima became president 3 years ago following the death of Iwata, and his short reign was pretty eventful, encompassing the end of the Wii U, the rise of the Switch, the fruition of many of Nintendo's plans to license its IP to other companies, including an upcoming theme park. He was certainly busy. He was successful too, with Nintendo reporting that it's on track. Let me try that again. With Nintendo reporting that it's on track to hit its highest profit since 2010. Another change, Satoru Shibata. I know Shibata. That's a wrestling name. I know that one. Shibata, president of Nintendo. See, if every Nintendo employee was also part of New Japan Pro Wrestling, I could say the name. It's so much easier if you're just a professional wrestler. I could say your name. Shibata, president of Nintendo of Europe and host of many European Nintendo Direct broadcasts, will also become a board member. It's not clear who will succeed him with that. That part doesn't matter. I guess I shouldn't have read that part. But Shibata, I know that name. That's why I was so excited I can read it. So part of the reason they did this, obviously, part of the article is that he's 46. Kimoshia is 68. So kind of the old guard of and it's something we talked about in the past, where the old guard was kind of needed to go away. There's a lot of people that were like very much, and there was a lot of things that came out towards the end of Iwata's time there, where a lot of them didn't understand the internet and didn't think that was a big issue or wasn't a popular thing. Even going back to like 2008, 2009, when internet online gaming was like the big thing in that generation, and the fact that we have this Hadukan, where the fuck you want, for Furukawa,
Santaro Furukawa.
You're just making shit up now. Okay, that's not real. Okay, Hadukan is he's 40, like I said, 46. He can speak English. So he's gonna. I hope that'd be great to see him be like the new Nintendo Direct guy. Hopefully get his own thing, because they have the new guy, and he's just kind of not bad. He's okay. But no one's gonna top Iwata. Like Iwata, he perfected it. Like that was like he started it, and he's topped it, and everybody's gonna compare him to Iwata, and even Hadukan. So fuck, stupid. I don't know. I think it's interesting. It's surprising, especially since, I mean, you look at every president. Like I saw like a timeline of every president ever for Nintendo. Everybody was there for like. They were a president for, I think Iwata had the shortest term before that, and he was like 13 years. And all the other presidents were 20 to 40 years. So now we're on our third president in 4 years. Obviously, things aren't bad for Nintendo. This seems like it was a placeholder president. It's like, okay, we didn't really have, like, we knew Iwata was going, but we really didn't have a plan in place for a successor, because there was because technically he was president. He'll be president for 3 years when he retires in June, but there's a good chunk of time where Shigeru Miyamoto and the other person, I can't remember his name, but there was like him and that one other person were basically co-running Nintendo for like almost a year before they officially put Kimishima in. I'm just not even gonna try anymore. But before they put him in place, so this feels like it was just like, all right, we just need somebody for now. We'll groom the next guy before you go, and this feels like that's what it is.
Well, yeah, of course. Kimishima was basically a placeholder when like Satoru Iwata passed on and stuff, and then Furukawa, who's now the
excuse me, who?
President. Furukawa.
I believe you mean Hadukan.
Anyway, basically, I'm kind of excited by this news in and of itself because now they got themselves a permanent president who's young, is more focused upon, someone who's actually played a lot of their content in terms of like growing up playing Nintendo games, because that was one of the main things I was reading about for some of the articles in response. Not just in response, but just from the announcement that they actually have a president that's gone through, grew up playing bits of Nintendo games, this and that, and now he's in charge, and it may be a kind of like a shift in another type of like direction in terms of being more like personal, like say in a youthful sort of direction for like Nintendo stuff, kind of like similar to what we've been seeing currently with the Switch and with other types of like game releases on it. So I think it's going to be interesting the next couple of years with with the new president behind Nintendo's decisions and stuff.
Yeah. I think this is the first president ever of anything that's actually just a fireball that comes out a person's hand. So, so this is gonna be a really interesting times for Nintendo. And
if we say any more, I swear to God, Bill Trent's gonna come ahead. Just go ahead to your house or something. Just give you a big old Shoryuken. Just out of nowhere.
That's fine. I deserve that. Yeah, I'm surprised I haven't heard the plane fly over. Yeah.
Any major Nintendo news is always a plane.
Yeah, no plane. It's not quite summertime yet, so when that gets there, then there's gonna be planes every 12 seconds. Fuckers. But that is all the news for the week. Time to move into what we've been playing, Gables.
Right.
So are you? You're continuing on your Poke Warrior way, right?
Exactly.
All right.
The Poke Warrior's way has been continuing on as expected. Over the past week, I had the chance to finish up Pokemon Black 2, which finally wrapped up my entire journey through the Unova region. I gotta admit, though, the playthrough in and of itself was highly successful. I encountered a shiny Grimer randomly through the sewers of Castelia City, which that was very surprising in and of itself. I evolved into shiny muck and all this stuff. This is just this pure like green muck and stuff like that. That was so fucking funny. Just having it on my party, because even when I went against like the Elite Four and Champion and stuff like that in Black 2, I only used muck only a handful of times. I mean, it really wasn't like as useful per se because I did not find the TM for Earthquake or any type of other useful moves. Useful moves that may have helped.
Is Earthquake the move that where you trip and fall over a board going through a wall?
No.
Okay.
No, unfortunately, it's not. It's
Shock
not the Shock
reference.
Master of moves.
All right, sorry.
But
sorry, that was too deep of a dive for a wrestling reference. My bad. I'm gonna back up with my beer now.
Yeah, you're gonna have long-time listeners just looking at us like, what the fuck is he talking about? Bored through a wall. But anyway, there were a bunch of good moments inside this playthrough. Up until the final moment where I was facing off against the champion, Iris, her name was. She is a dragon master, because of course the dragon trainer is going to be the final boss instead of a Pokemon game. I'm just saying. But it came down ultimately between my Excadrill, my female Excadrill I named Mona, against her, oh god, there's this big old like fossilized parrot, it looked like. This big old fossilized bird, it looked like a parrot or something, called Archon or something. It's basically part flying, part rock type, and it goes forth and it can hit you with move like a Stone Edge, which has a high critical hit ratio, like a boost. It knocked out one of my party members just easily, but it came down to my Rock Slide on Mona versus the Rock Slide on Archon, and I was able to knock out the last Pokemon and basically go through, and it led me to beating my, what was this now? My 6th Pokemon game in a row. Just think about that, for instance. When I started this Poké Warriors way, I just had a craving just to play a Pokemon game around March, you know. Finished one. Okay, that's fine. Start another. Finish that. And all of a sudden it's evolved to the point now where I'm starting Pokemon X.
I think you've beaten more Pokemon games this year than I've beaten games.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
Of course, you've tried more games released this year than I have.
Well, that's because I'm an idiot, though. And I have more money than brain cells. So and I don't have a lot of brain cells. So, I'm on beer number 5.
So, speaking of Pokemon X, I started it up on Tuesday. Yes, I started it off on Tuesday. I chose Fennekin as my starter. Fennekin is the Firefox starter, pretty much, and evolves fully into a Pokemon called Delphox, which is part fire, part psychic, but purely speed, and it can hit hard in terms of special attack, which I like that. So for the second starter that you gain, like the whole Kanto starter stuff, I went with Squirtle. Why? Because I like Blastoise. Mega Blastoise. I like that one.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. Very surprising. Now, the next Pokemon I end up getting on my team, and I gotta say, though, it's one of those playthroughs where I know exactly the team that I want to play through with. So I got Fennekin, I got Squirtle, and I got that little goat, Skiddo, the grass goat. Plus, I got that sword Pokemon, Honedge. And lastly, as of right now, I caught an Eevee, which right now I have it evolved into Sylveon because, well, I needed a fairy type if I want to contend against a lot of the dragons inside that game. So as for nicknames, Fennekin has a nickname of Socks. I have my Squirtle, which is nicknamed Terra. I have Skiddo, which is nicknamed Moss. Honedge, which I gave the nickname of Widowmaker. I know, right? And Eevee has a nickname of Jewel. Well, Sylveon does. So, in and of itself, I got 5 of the 6 members of my team already, just completed right there. I've evolved quite a few of them, but as of right now, I've gone through about 2 gym badges, and I have roughly around over 13 hours played so far. And there's a good reason for that, too. In Generation 6, it introduced a couple different things. 1, the PSS system, which allowed you to connect online. 2, the Pokémonami, which is basically you feeding your Pokemon little, cakes and, just petting it and all this other crap. That's pretty much the key thing that you have to use if you want to evolve an Eevee into a Sylveon, or if you want to evolve any Pokemon that requires you to, just have, a bunch of friendliness, highest friendliness stat or something like that. That's the mode that's most ideal. It's a lot better than what you could do in Generation 2, where you had to hope that your freaking Eevee would evolve or something if you gave it enough potions or gave enough, rare candies or gave it haircuts and shit. Because when I did that Crystal playthrough, I had an Eevee on my team, but it would not fucking evolve or shit. And I wanted an Umbreon. But, anyway. The last thing that they introduced right there is the super training thing. Now, when I first played through Pokemon X and Y to begin with, that was the mode I used the most. Why? Because it allowed me to train my Pokemon in the stat that I wanted that was most beneficial towards them. And that's what's led me to spend a good solid, I think, 5 or 6 hours just doing that. And I've got 5 out of my 6 party members done. Don't need to really grind. Don't need to really, focus upon changing things. Got 1 slot left. Right now it's occupied by a Furret that I caught that's using Cut and Strength. I nicknamed him, oh man, I think I nicknamed him Pockets or something like that, or some weird crap But yeah, so far so good. I forgot how X and Y kind of handhold you a lot towards the beginning of the game. I mean, that's the thing that stuck out the most for me. I mean, the game looks it looks okay for being like the first sort of 2D, 3D sort of hybrid kind of game of its type. And the character models look okay, considering that these were from 2013, 2014. So, in terms of like a performance and stuff, the game I noticed kind of runs sort of slow. Even on the new 3DS XL, kind of a little bit chugging here and there because of the whole 3D models and this and that. But other than that, it's still fun. It's still the type of game that that I loved playing even back when it first released. Another thing I noticed, though, there's a whole bunch of good Pokemon available towards the beginning parts of the game where you have a lot of variety of what you want to play and what you want to run. Lots of familiar Pokemon, lots of this and that, but other than that, yeah, I'm still happy just to go forth and play more of it. But other than that, that's what I've been playing. How about you, Tyler?
No, it's cool though, man. You're right about the hand-holding thing. And I think that's a big part of why I like that game so much. Is because obviously, I've talked about many times before about like where I went from not really playing a Pokemon game since Gold, Silver, Platinum, to 15 years later playing Pokemon X. So it's kind of a great way to jump in, especially with the new graphics and everything, the way it worked out. So yeah, that game is incredible. I every now and again I get the urge to go back and play that one. Saying I tried to play Pokemon Moon, I tried to play Pokemon Alpha Sapphire, I think.
Yeah.
And I kind of fell off on them. So I think it's more of a nostalgia thing. I think Pokemon X hit that nostalgia perfectly.
Yeah. I felt that way too.
Yeah. So I'm glad to hear you back into it. So are you gonna, after you finish X and Y, are you gonna go back into Moon and Sun and Ultra Sun and Moon?
Well, here's the thing. I think I've said this on record before on our podcast, but I thought that Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon are best of editions of Sun and Moon.
Yeah.
Honestly, if I had to make a comparison, I would say that Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon are kind of like split third versions of Sun and Moon itself.
Yeah. The
meaning
platinum.
there's not, sort of like that. Sort of like, if I could technically play either Ultra Sun or Ultra Moon and get the entire experience, because it's mostly the same as Sun and Moon, give or take Necrozma and like all of the other types of new Ultra Beast stuff that was inside there. I thought Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, in comparison to the original Sun and Moon, was definitely better. And my current plan right now is, once I'm finished playing Pokemon X, I'm going to go out and purchase the one version of the game I have not beaten yet. And that's Ultra Moon. So that's going to be the coup de grace for right now.
Nice.
But that's the current plan right now. And as far as I'm concerned and stuff, Ultra Moon, I feel, is the perfect way to go through and end the Poke Warriors way right now. Just up until like the whole next Pokemon game gets announced and stuff for Switch or whatsoever. It could be 8th generation, it could be this or that. But
I hope so.
Inside comparison, it's like this, Tyler. It's like inside comparison wise, the reason why I did like say Black and Black 2 is because technically Black 2 is the sequel. Black 2 and White 2 were sequels to Black and White. They were different games at their core, despite being in the same region and having the same Pokemon, give or take the older Kanto and other older Pokemon appearing in Black 2 and White 2. But Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon compared to Sun and Moon, they're mostly the same, give or take the Ultra Beast stuff, and plus the whole battling all of Rainbow Rocket at the end of the game. The after game content.
Yeah. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, I was just curious. No, that's cool though. That's fun that you're finally gonna complete the last one you haven't finished. But sorry, you when you mentioned Pokemon Switch again, it just got me all warm and tingling inside again. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I understand that completely, man. Can't wait to hear more about it next month.
It's much like what I mentioned with online services for Nintendo, where I feel like the worst case scenario is still okay.
Yeah.
For Pokemon Switch. So unless it's like Pokemon, like the Match 3 game, that's actually worst case scenario. But as long as it's like,
Three.
if it's even if it's just like, hey, we just remade Pokemon Moon and Sun for the Switch, that's still okay. But yeah, no, damn it, excited. I've waited 21 years for this fucking game. I hope it's this year. I don't want to wait any longer. So much like you, I've only really played one game this. Well, I guess you played a couple, but I've only played one game this week. God of War. Talked about a lot last week. Raved about it after only 7 hours. I'm probably 12 to 14 hours in now.
Okay.
And basically everything I said last week still remains true. And I talked about the beginning of the show where I got so into this game, I started going back and watching like trailers and shit like that, and I went back and watched the original review for this game. And it's kind of cool. Like the original review for the game is like the first like 5 minutes or so of the game, and it was kind of crazy to see like the differences. And that was like 2016 when I think when they first revealed it, E3, and so about 2.5 years ago. And it was kind of cool to see that the just the differences in it. Very minor, but like they stand out, especially when they're fresh in your mind. Yeah, so I'm deeper into the game now. It's getting better. It's aging like a fine wine. This game is, and it just like the gameplay still feels great. They added new enemies in there, and I'm definitely getting stronger. And I'm focusing. I found the things I want to focus on, and I'm doing that, and I'm getting much stronger. So the battles, the fighting is getting, I mentioned last week, it's very Dark Soul-esque, the fighting is, and it's still difficult, but I haven't really died in a while, and I don't know if that's just me getting better at the game, or like maybe I'm actually competent at the game for once. I don't fucking know, but I don't believe that to be true, but or maybe I just found the right my game style that works. But my favorite thing right now is just throwing the fucking the axe. Just throw it for no reason even. Just throw it. The guy's 2 feet from me. I can hit him with the axe. Fuck that. I'm gonna throw it at you, and I'm gonna hit you in the damn knee, and you're gonna fall down, and then I'm gonna smash you when you're down on the ground. All right, that's the coolest thing in the world to me right now. That's the best thing going on. It's just chucking a hammer for no reason at all, or this axe. I'm sorry. And just taking a guy's knee out and then smacking him on the ground. It just feels so good. It's great. So I do a lot of that. That's been great. And I'm still trying to find everything. There's certain things I don't like. I mentioned last week it's being very much like Tomb Raider. And I'm like, oh, there's all these cool places I can't get to yet. And it's like, man, this world, like, it's almost like overwhelming in a way how much stuff I have found I can't do. And I'm getting new unlockable things I can do to unlock those things I've seen before. But there's more shit I'm finding that I can't unlock as I'm unlocking things. I'm like, I get to like a new section, and there's more shit in that section that I can't get to. I'm like, come on. So it's like my anxiety almost is going crazy in this game. It's like almost like playing a Lego game in a way for me.
Oh, I can't get the completionist mentality now.
Yes, and it's driving me nuts because I can't do it. This is why I don't play like Metroid and shit. It's because there's so many. Like I just want to get there. Let me go there, please. So that's how I feel about it. These aren't really bad things. These are more me problems than game problems. But yeah, I absolutely adore this game. I just did in a big boss fight today. This game is like every moment is like fantastic, but they find like I said, they find a way to top it every time. And it's like, okay, that was crazy. I don't know, like, okay, that was a lot. I don't know how I can keep going. Like, I don't know how that get bigger, and it gets bigger. And they find these great peaks and valleys in this game, like the tone and the emotion level. And just not even in the story, but in the gameplay, they have like this is almost, for what this game is, almost perfect. For like, I don't know how I'm going to play Shadow of the Tomb Raider later this year after playing this game. Like, they topped it. And it was funny, I talked about like this game reminded me of Tomb Raider last week, and I was actually reading about God of War. And funny thing is one of the main people from the Tomb Raider reboot actually was one of the key people that worked on this game. He's the one that actually pitched the idea of having the one-shot camera where it never moves, never cuts or anything like that. Wow. And he mentioned it to the dude during Tomb Raider when they brought back the reboot. And he was laughed out of the room. They thought it was a dumb idea, and then they brought it here to God of War, and it's actually one of the coolest things about this game. And there's a lot of really cool things about this game. This feels like, and I know it's not been the greatest year, and there's a lot of stuff that's still come out this year, and it doesn't seem like it's going to be a super great year, but I just don't see how anything can beat this game this year. I don't know if this game came out last year, if anything could beat this game. That's how great this game is. Last year was a great fucking year. That should tell you how much I'm loving this game. And maybe it's just PlayStation. They have found the formula to make Tyler's favorite games. But they have, if they did it on purpose, they did a great fucking job, because it seems like every game they make right now, they have done like what Nintendo did in my childhood with great games, like PlayStation is doing in my as an adult. Like the games that I love now, that's what PlayStation is making.
Agreed.
And they have like what I've grown into as a gamer. They are making those games, and they're fucking fantastic.
It just feels like that people like us that have been gaming for a while, that know what they want in terms of like doing like progression stuff, in terms of level progression, in terms of character development, character builds, objection-based stuff. It just feels like people like us are creating the games, and that's what makes it so much more interesting to play certain first-party exclusives upon the PlayStation 4 at the moment. Because it doesn't matter whether or not it's like a God of War, or if it's like an Uncharted 4, or even like Horizon Zero Dawn. There's just stuff in there that's just interesting, and that keeps us engaged to the end. And that's fantastic now.
And like Neil Druckmann, who is the director of the original, the first two Uncharted games. And when Uncharted 3 came out, he started being the director, and then he split off to make Last of Us. And he talked about like why the tone of like Last of Us and Uncharted 4 changed from the first two and the first three. And he mentions like, well, now I'm a dad now, or I'm older now, you know. So his perspective and the things that in his life have changed. And I think that's kind of what it is. I think the way you said it is, the people who are making those games now are us, or they're maybe the generation before us. You know, they grew up with the NES and the Super Nintendo. We grew up like at the tail end of the Super Nintendo, but with the Game Boy and the GameCube and stuff like the 64 and stuff. And it feels like those people are making the games for us now, and it's awesome. And it's, man, I don't know how many more adjectives, verbs, whatever you want to call them, nouns. I know some words I can use to talk about how great this game is. I don't really know how much more I could say about this game to like make you just play the goddamn game. This is a system seller. This is a game of the generation type game. So yeah, it's great. I am loving it. I didn't get to play it for a few days, which really sucked. I was like legitimately bummed out about the fact I couldn't play it. Which, you know, like I'll go like a week without playing a game sometimes, and like it sucks. You know, I love playing games, but you know, I couldn't play games for a week. Like Far Cry 5, I go a whole week without getting to play it. But I wasn't really bummed about it. You know, I wasn't like, I want to play it, but I couldn't play it.
Right.
This game, I'm like, if I don't, like, what am I, like, it makes, like I said this last week, it makes the workday longer. This game does. Because that means that's more time away from this game. And I don't want to spend. I want to just play this game. That's all I want to do. That's all I think about at work all day is like how much, I'd rather be home right now playing God of War. So yeah, this game is, it's so good. I don't know how far I am. Usually in most games you can kind of tell where you're at. Like, okay, I'm getting pretty close to the end. I'm probably, you know, there's some more stuff coming. I don't know how far I am. I put like I said, 12 to 14 hours into it. I've heard it can take you anywhere from 25 to 40 hours to beat this game. So am I a third of the way through this game? Am I halfway? Am I 2/3? I have no clue. But I'm just kind of ranting and raving right now. But yeah, this game's great. Just buy the game. It's basically this whole thing. I can paraphrase it into just buy the fucking game. That's my review for God of War. And I'll probably talk more next week, which will probably be essentially the same thing until I beat the game. And then at the end of the year, when we do Game of the Year podcast, and I'm like, hey, just buy the fucking game. That's basically I should just put that in the box. Tyler Courtney, just buy the fucking game. They can have that for free. Yeah, so I think that's going to wrap up the show for the week. Gables, you're going to be out of town next weekend, aren't you?
I am. Actually, I'm going to be going out to the Seattle area. I'm going to be attending like a pirate cruise next Saturday. So, yeah, basically we could try to record the podcast a little bit earlier if you want to. It's all up to you, really. But, yeah, it's going to be an interesting time. A few friends and I are going to be going out. We're going to be enjoying ourselves being pirates, pretty much.
Nice.
Yeah,
Cool.
it's like all the cruise season. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, next week might be a weird week as far as the show goes. I don't know how it's going to go. So it could be quarter early. Could just be me. I don't know. You could just take the week off. I don't know. We can break the streak. We'll see how it goes. You could be the Brock Lesnar to our Undertaker streak of recording a podcast. Gables. You could be the Paul Heyman, actually. And the Pirate Cruise can be the Brock Lesnar, actually. To continue on with the wrestling gimmick. Anyways, sorry about that. I just want to thank you guys for listening. If you guys want to hear more from us, we have a Facebook page and group, Drunk Dashers Podcast. Like and join us on there. On Twitter, we are at DrunkNerds Pod. Follow us on there. On Twitch.tv, we are our Drunk Nerds Podcast. Follow us on there. Send us friend requests. Friends are good. We like friends. And then on iTunes, we are on Drunk Dashers Podcast. Subscribe to us on there. There's a 5-star review, please. More people will give us reviews. More people can see us. And then last but not least, check us out on YouTube at Drunk Nerds Podcast. Or actually, I'm sorry, just Drunk Nerds. Give us a thumbs up. Podcast goes up on there. Subscribe as well, please. Leave a comment. Like, share, and subscribe, I guess. And then hit the subscribe button. Hit the little bell, apparently. That's a new thing people do on YouTube now is ding, ding, done. As I hear 50 fucking times a day when I watch YouTube videos. So yeah, do all that. We greatly appreciate it. The more people out there that join us, or follow us, subscribe to us, whatever, more people get to see us, which is great for us. Makes us feel great. And more people see us. That's awesome. But I was your host. I was Tyler.
And I have been Colonel Gables. So until next time, everyone, hope you have yourself a good week, and game on.
Hey, Gables.
Yeah.
Too sweet.
Too sweet, man.
Boys.
And we're out for another week.